Hi, this is Anise Matthew. I hope you're doing well. A question that a lot of people ask me about is what books are good for human design, both to start as a beginner and even as you progress to more advanced types of human design. The bottom line is human design is a vast topic, and there is no one book that's going to get everything that you want to learn from it. Even the book that is called the Definitive Book of Human Design doesn't cover all the parameters in the detail that many people will want. So today I'm just going to give an overview of some books that I would suggest from beginner right on to a little bit more advanced. These are all my personal choice. There's absolutely no affiliation with anybody. This is my unbiased opinion, and it may not be for everybody, but I thought I would just put it out there because I did do a post about this on my community page and people seem to like it. So I thought a video might be something that is even more helpful to people to find the right book for you so that you can advance in human design and really find the information that matters to you, because not all of us will want to look at one specific part of human design. For instance, for me, planetary transits and anything to do with the lines and gates is really information that I love to learn about, whereas other people are more interested in the health aspects, or maybe they're interested in the colors and tones and bases. So there is something for everyone. And any one of these books may be a stepping stone for you to decide which path you'd like to take with human design, if it's just a general view or if it's something that is more specific that you really want to learn about. And since for many people we're entering a holiday season, this might be a time to give yourself a gift or potentially get somebody else to gift you something that you may like or appreciate. It's just a suggestion. And I know that I love getting books for myself for a treat as well. So with that said, let's get into it. Now, if you're just starting out, a couple books that I would recommend are Understanding Human Design by Karen Curry Parker. This is a good book, and it's very general. It's got an overview of all the gates, circuits, channels, profiles, and more. Now, if you also like affirmations, then this book might be for you. She also has a newer version of the book called The Human Design Workbook, a step-by-step guide to understanding your own chart and how it can transform your life by Karen Parker. Now, this book expands on some planetary information as well as it also expands on the gates, so you're getting more information. She also breaks down the gates in that you have a theme, a life lesson, and unbalanced expressions of each gate. So that can be something that is very like bullet form, so you can actually see the information in a way that it may be more usable for you. And if you're the type of person that likes the workbook style, there are some fill in the blank areas where you can do some of your own journaling. Another good book to get a feel for human design is Human Design by Chetan Parkin. And this is another great resource for anyone who's starting out, since it gives a nice overview about the similar topics to Karen Curry Parker's book. The Revelation by Richard Rudd is another book I like. This one goes through the type, strategies, authorities. There's no gate information here since he goes into those topics with the book Human Design Circuitry, The Complete Guide to Circuits, Channels, and Gates by Richard Rudd. So that's another book. They come as sort of a complementary pair if you want to buy the both of them. And if we look at the Human Design Circuitry book, I've already done a little video on that, a little short. If you want to check that out, I'll leave the link below. Now, if we're moving into deeper topics, Complete Guide to the Human Design System by Ra Uru. And this book goes into all the above topics, but it adds information on the crystals of consciousness, the Godheads, color, tone, base, environment, and much more. It doesn't go into detail about the gates, though. So if that's your focus, then this may not be the book for you. But what it will do is give you a taste of a lot of different human design topics. And I think this is a great tester to discover what you might want to have more interest in and where you might want to expand. Because if you want to expand on something like colors and tones and something like that, generally you'll have to go to Jovian and get books to expand on that type of information. But for a general look into things that may interest you, this is a wonderful book. Another book that's similar to that one is Human Design, the Definitive Book of Human Design, The Science of Differentiation by Ra Uru and also Linda Bunnell. Of course, there's way more information than this book provides, but it is a good tester to figure out what you like. Another book by Chetan Parkin is called The Book of Destiny, and this is basically solely focused on incarnation crosses. And I would say it's much more user-friendly than the incarnation cross index by Ra Uru. I find that's a little bit not as user-friendly. So this might be something to whet your appetite. And if you want to expand, you could always go on to his book. Another book that's pretty good is The Life Force, The Channels by Ra Uru. This is a great source for channels, gates, and shows all the energies and how they flow together. Circuitry is something that's very valuable to really understand how the energy moves through the body graph and how it all kind of comes together. It does go into detail about the formats, integration, and other circuits as well. The Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. This is also a nice book because it gives added insight and expands on the themes of the gates and adds even more dimension to each gate. Now, he calls it a gene key, but they do have a lot of the similar underlying themes. He, of course, adds more information and more color to a lot of these gates and really brings a nice dimension to the energy. So it is a great expansion of the gates to learn some more and to kind of apply them to your own life and really get into some level of depth and how you can up the level of energy based on some suggestions, because he goes into separation of the energies where we begin with a shadow, we move to a gift, and then finally we get to the city. If we move into specialty, this is where one of my favorite books is The Rave I Ching by Ra Uru. This is, in my opinion, the essential book for any human design planetary transits that you want to do. It's a great book for anyone who aligns to the I Ching or that aspect of the human design system. It has all the gates, lines, exaltations, and detriment included. Now, it is written in a way where it is a little potentially esoteric and a little bit, I guess you could say, even poetic, as opposed to being very black and white. So it does take some level of interpretation, and sometimes it doesn't really play out so easily. So you sort of have to meditate with it, but it is either for you or it isn't for you, and you'll figure that out if you have a look at it. And it's one book that I know has a lot of copies just sort of floating online. In other words, it's free to download from somewhere on the internet. And last but not least, Asteroids in Human Design, Awakening the Feminine Archetype by Kim Gould. This is a brand new book that I just purchased myself, and it's very interesting because she talks about a very expansive way of using asteroids and bringing that into the human design body graph and really talking about how it all brings your body graph together and maybe some things that you didn't necessarily see with the standard body graph, but this gives even more of an expression or a depth to the energy. Now, of course, there are going to be people who say that we don't use asteroids, we don't use Chiron, and we'll say this, that I have listened to extensive work by Ra Uru, and he has talked about fixed stars, he's talked about Chiron. So those were all topics that he has discussed in one way or another, and I don't think that it is a disservice for you to explore it if it makes you feel like you might discover something that is valuable to you. And that is it for my list. Of course, it will be expanded as I go on. If I find a book that really lights me up or that I think is a great tool, I will definitely let you guys know. But for now, that's where I stand, and I hope it is helpful. And until next time, take care, and I will see you guys again soon.